Yeah, what did Picasso say? Something about all portraits are self-portraits. Yeah. Yeah, so these are, amalgamations of bits and pieces of things I pick up, off the street or, and reformulating them into these fairly grotesque characters. Now, having spent a lot of time in the Skid Row area, there's a lot of distress in that area. And in walking around there, I'd be face to face with it. I mean, literally face to face with people who are in a lot of distress. I mean, people would talk to me, and I'd talk to them. So I think a lot of this came out of those encounters, and it's rough. It's rough, and I have to say that as I would meet people or observe people, particularly down there, people living on the street and having a pretty rough time, I would think, I'm only this far from that reality. I mean, it's there were times that I'd just be walking around and going, now that looks like a good area to camp out. It was almost like I was planning for my future, and yeah, it's funny, but it's not funny. I mean, a lot of these people didn't start out this way. I'd be looking at, and imagining some of these stories, that these people have. These are all human beings, and, clearly some of these people are old enough to be Vietnam vets, and, and had that, that vibe. People who had gotten sick and lost everything because of medical issues. People that are living on the street or living in shelters. Artists, more artists, musicians. I mean, so I can. It's not a far stretch, to especially when you're right there. I mean, if you're 500 miles away, it's like it's not really reality. But there are people that are living there. So there's a lot of vitality in these areas, and then there's also a lot of distress. So at some point I kind of realized what I'm doing in this show and in these things is organizing the distress in a way. And so I'm composing in these wall pieces inside. I would say, they're composed and almost like visual poetry, and that you're somehow able to make mental connections, and or at least that was the intention. And you've got smatterings of, you've got, it's very LA. You've got Mickey Mouse in there, and Donald Duck, and you've got Marilyn's in there, and there's a lot of street stuff, and there's the trees, and it's all interwoven. It's a real tapestry.